So my name is Abby, and again I'm going to be working with Allie, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to do something called the Foot Posture Index, and it is a 5-part assessment that lets me look at different parts of your ankle where you kind of stand normally. So what I want you to go ahead and do is just look forward the whole time. You can go ahead and put your hands down by your side and march in place just a little bit, and just stand like you're going to be standing normally. And I'm going to come down here and assess a couple things. I'm going to be looking back and forth in between my computer and Allie over here. So the first thing we're going to look at is the talar head position, and so I'm going to come in again anterior to the malleoli, feel the positioning here and see if they feel equal, which they do. They feel kind of like both the medial and lateral are prominent in both hands, so that would mean that she would get a 0, which I'm just going to mark down here in my notes, and that is a 0 out of +2 or -2. Okay, the next one I'm going to have you actually turn around for me, Allie, and still face exactly that way. That's perfect. And this one we're going to be looking at the supra and infralateral malleolar curvature, so I'm going to be looking on the outside here to see if there's any difference in the curvature above and below the lateral malleoli. And actually what I'm seeing here is that, Allie, you have a little bit of a concave curvature below the malleoli, which would be indicative of supination actually. So I'd probably, it's not an extreme curvature, so I'd probably give that, I think, what did we say, a 1 for that one? A -1 for that one, excuse me. So a -1 for that portion. Okay, the next one we're going to be doing is calcaneal frontal plane. So I'm imagining the calcaneus here on like a frontal plane, seeing if there's any inversion or eversion of the calcaneus, and there is not. She's pretty much straight on in her calcaneus, so I'm going to give that one a 0 as well. Next one is bulging in the region of the talonavicular joint. So I'm going to come to the side over here. I'm going to find the talus over here and move down from the medial malleolus to find the navicular as well. See if there's any bulging, and there isn't. It's fairly flat, nothing incredibly bulging or any sort of concaveness about it. So I'd also probably give that a 0. And then our last one, Allie, I'm going to look at your arches. So normally we expect to see a little bit of an arch here, which is just normal. And she is not supinated, otherwise we would see kind of a pinched arch in the medial posterior aspect. And she's really not flat-footed here, so it looks about normal on both sides. So I would give that a 0 as well. Okay, so the last assessment we have is the abduction and adduction of the forefoot compared to the rear foot. So I'm already in a good position to assess this. Looking at her rear foot, I would say that it is actually pretty neutral. You can't see more than a little bit on either side. So I'm not seeing more lateral toes, or I'm not seeing more of her great toe medially. So I would actually score that one to be a 0 as well. So if I tally all those scores up, Allie will end up having a -1, which if I look down here at the normative values, a -1 is actually kind of indicative of a supinated foot, so I would say that Allie has a little bit more supination than pronation.